That is my year-on-year improvement. And I know very confidently that a lot of that is down to Edison and this coaching, because it has changed the culture within the school. The progress pupils make, our combined scores have all improved, but they're still, obviously, where we sit. We've gone from 66 percentile to 18 this year. Our value added has improved. Teachers no longer suffer having to go through a lesson observation because it's just something you have to do. My teachers wouldn't consider anymore ever putting a cap on the amount of visits they have. They actually organise their own lesson visits now with the lead coaches. Some staff, they could get away with it, would have a visit a fortnight. And lesson visits have been taken from just the classroom. They actually involve time that teachers arrange with themselves to sit with other year groups and do planning, to actually look at resourcing. They spend time looking at the ICT capacity of what they're doing. They've taken it way out of what we set out as our original remit. The bigger picture for us, we started with the focus on learning. We now have clarity about what good and outstanding is, and that's the beauty of this as well. It doesn't stop at good. Nobody is outstanding in every element. There is room for progress for every teacher within this model. And it doesn't stop when the lesson visit is over. The reflective teachers have their file. They can actually reflect on, analyse where they are as a teacher at any point in their PPA, in their planning, if they're bored at night, whatever. Teachers have become accountable, but they selected to become accountable. It is sustainable. It's a whole lot less stressful. Nobody minds. I don't have to publish lesson observation timetables anymore. We've moved on now so that we actually, coaches take a year group, and we've tinkered with it. We've looked at how it works for us, and this year, starting in September, coaches worked across a year group. It made sense to us. That's where we've got. Well, they actually now organise their visits when suits. It's a proper professional dialogue now. You know, I'd really like to come into literacy because actually that's where I really think I've got an issue around. And it's drilled down. This ties in with what we're doing as a school. Our focus as a school, your focus as a school, in terms of groups of pupils, whether it's free school meals, boys, girls, level 2C converters, whatever. Each of those pupils can become a focus, if that's appropriate, through your lesson visits. So it's personalised, it's relevant. It's quite simply the best impact I've seen that I've had the opportunity to work on since I've been ahead. Very clear next steps. This year in our performance management, everybody has had a target set on where they are currently within the quality framework, where they need to go to next. So the support is already there. And the good news, Ofsted did come in. That wasn't the good news. The good news was they loved it. Because, and this does tie in with where Ofsted are going now, this is not about the teaching, it is about the learning. Everything about this focuses on the impact on learning. Through schools locally, ourselves included, work from satisfactory to good. As a group of schools, we have extended the work we're doing with this now. It has become very personalised to each school, but it has helped us as a cluster of schools identify where we can share our CPD. So we've been able to maximise our budget. We, as a cluster of schools, have used this to identify using the elements where we want to focus, and each school has decided which elements they need to focus on, so that as schools we can collectively pool our resources, and we can either tailor our CPD across our schools, or we can look at where we need to support each other. We've also built up a group of lead coaches across the schools. They're having enhanced leadership opportunities because they're going into other schools and actually sharing lesson visits with other schools, which is absolutely fantastic for quality assurance, and it is wonderful for schools where we work together. My leaders have got so much out of being able to go and work in other schools. It is truly empowering. But don't just take my word for it, because truly, as I say, there could have been any of the head teachers involved in this project. These are genuinely the quotes that my teachers came up with. Like one of my lead coaches, it does put the power. It transfers where it was before. Lesson observations can be a bit of a deficit model. You know you're in for a criticism, even if you did a brilliant lesson. You've worked and worked and worked. You stayed up all weekend, whatever. Somebody's going to come in and they're still going to find a fault. And that's demoralising. It's not like that with this, because actually nobody other than yourself looks at your development points. The beauty of coaching is that the power is back in the hands of the teacher. The coach is trained and skilled up to ask the questions that prompt the thoughts. Nobody criticises your lesson, you criticise it, and that's a whole lot better to cope with when you've been up all weekend sorting out your lesson planning. That was the very first quote, and I think when I shared this with Helen and I was squealing and dancing, and on the very first, this is the very first teacher that worked on a lesson visit model. If this is what lesson observation is going to be like in the future, you come in every day. It didn't feel like an observation. It makes you think, and that's the coaching element. It is about thinking. That was an Ofsted quote. We were able to evidence so much through using the quality framework. It fits in not just with teaching and learning, but on your CPD, on your leadership, to be able to work with every teacher, a personalised approach to where they are builds individual leadership capacity. It is about the only thing I've come across where I actually think I now see how we could get to outstanding in leadership, because this is leadership for everybody in the school. This is not just the head or the senior leadership team or the middle leaders. This is about every teacher having a leadership element. And it's less threatening. Okay, I've probably gone on far too much. I don't work for Edison. This is me, really, truly, honestly sharing with you our experience as a school. That's come from the heart, but it's truly reflected, I can promise you, with all the teachers, head teachers I've worked with.
Thank you. Thank you very much.